Yes, good morning to all. So in last class we discussed alpha blockers. So alpha adrenergic blockers. In today's class I'm going to discuss about the beta adrenergic blockers. Okay. So first I will discuss about the classification. Next afterwards next pharmacological actions of beta blockers and pharmacokinetics and adverse effects and interactions of beta adrenergic blockers. Okay. First classification. Here the beta blockers is divided to two types, that is non-selective drugs and cardio-selective drugs. Okay. So here non-selective drugs means these are the drugs which are inhibit the actions of beta 1 receptors and beta 2 receptors. Okay. So that's why it is called as non-selective beta blockers. Okay. So here non-selective beta blockers is divided to three types. So that is without intrinsic sympathomimetic activity. So what do you mean by without intrinsic sympathomimetic activity? Means these drugs propanolol and sotalolol and timolol. So these drugs does not having any sympathomimetic activity. So without intrinsic sympathomimetic activity means, so these are the drugs. These drugs does not having any sympathomimetic activity. So examples is propanolol, sotalolol, and timolol. And second category is with intrinsic sympathomimetic activity. Means the pindolol drug having sympathomimetic activity. So example is pindolol. Okay. Uh, Next, with third one is with additional alpha blocking property. Okay, so along with the beta blocking property, so this labetalol and carvedilol drug having alpha blocking property means that the labetalol and carvedilol drugs are block the two kinds of receptors, that is alpha receptors and beta receptors. Okay, and next thing is cardioselective drugs. Okay, so these cardioselective drugs are especially block the beta 1 receptors. Example is metoprolol and atenolol and acebutolol and bisprolol and ismolol and betaxolol and celiprolol and nebivolol. Okay. Mm, so these are the classification of what uh, beta blockers. Okay, this one is classification of beta blockers. Okay, beta blockers is divided to two types, non-selective and cardio-selective. So in non-selective consists of again three types, that is without intrinsic sympathomimetic activity, with the sympathomimetic activity, and with additional alpha blocking property, and cardio-selective drugs. These cardio-selective drugs are only block the beta 1 receptors, that receptors which is present in only heart region. Okay. And so what is the pharmacological actions of the beta blockers? Here, the prototype of the beta blockers is propanolol. So what is the mechanism of action of propanolol? Okay, so first thing is, what is a beta receptors mechanism of action? What is a beta 2 agonist drug action? What is a beta 2 receptor agonist mechanism of action? Okay, so actually these beta receptors are GS coupled receptors. Okay, beta receptors are what kind of receptors? Beta receptors are GS coupled receptors. So GS coupled receptors means what? Uh, so when agonist is binds with the beta receptors means, so there is an activation of adenyl cyclase enzyme. Okay, so adenyl cyclase enzyme is activated by what? Beta 2 receptor agonist drug. Okay, beta agonist drug. So beta receptors are GS coupled receptors. It is associated with the GS coupled protein. Okay, so as a result of activation of this beta receptors, there is an activation of adenyl cyclase enzyme. So there is an activation of adenyl cyclase enzyme means there is an activation of what? There is a formation of what? Cyclic AMP. Okay, and so this cyclic AMP formation is increases at the what? Cardiac muscles. Okay, the cyclic formation, it is increased at the cardiac means which is heart region. So then what will happen? The contraction effect it will be occurs. Okay, it is a normal agonist mechanism of action. Okay, so here propranolol drug is beta receptor antagonist. Okay, so this propranolol drug is block the beta receptor activity. Okay, so as a result of blockade of beta receptors, then what will happen? There is no activation of what adenyl cyclase enzyme. Okay, then there is no activation of adenyl cyclase means there is no formation of cyclic AMP. There is no formation of cyclic AMP means there is no contraction effect in heart muscles. Okay, so in after formation of cyclic AMP in heart muscles, what will happen? There is a stimulation of L-type calcium channels. There is an increase in the release of calcium from sacroplasmic reticulum. So then what will happen as a result of increase the calcium ions in the heart regions means there is a contraction effect is occurs in the contraction effect is occurs. Okay, so it's a normal beta 2 receptor agonist action, but our propranolol drug is block the beta receptor activity. Okay, block the beta 1 receptor activity. So then what will happen? Okay, so mainly heart consists of beta 1 receptors. So here our propranolol drug is block the beta 1 receptor activity. So then what will happen? There is no activation of adenyl cyclase enzyme. There is no formation of cyclic AMP. There is no activation of what protein kinase A, and there is no activation of L-type calcium channels, and there is no release of calcium from the sacroplasmic reticulum, means there is no contraction effect. So there is no contraction effect, means there is relaxation of there is no contraction effect means what? There is a relaxant effect is occurs. Nothing but the heart rate is decreases, and the decreases the myocardial contractility. Okay, and the conduction velocity is also decreases, and decreases the myocardial oxygen demand also. And here as a result of beta 1 receptor blockade, so there is a antihypertensive effect is also occurs because of there is a decrease in the heart rate and decrease in myocardial contractility, and the conduction velocity is also decreases, and decreases the myocardial oxygen demand. Okay, and here this antihypertensive effect is occurs due to three more reasons. So that is our drug propranolol drug is decreases the renin release. So decreases the renin release means what will happen as a result of decrease in the release of renin means so what is the function of renin? So renin it is released by kidney. Okay, it is released from the kidney. So the kidney consists of beta 1 receptors. So here our beta blockers are blocks the release of renin. Okay, so first what is the function of renin? So when angiotensinogen is converted to angiotensin 1, okay, so that angiotensin 1 it is converted with the help of renin. So with the help of renin, that angiotensinogen it is converted to angiotensin 1. Then this angiotensin 1 it is converted to angiotensin 2. Okay, and what is the function of angiotensin 2? Angiotensin 2 it causes the vasoconstriction effect, means it causes the BP. Okay, it is causes the what? Increases the BP, and it is stimulate the release of what? Aldosterone hormone. Okay, aldosterone aldosterone hormone. Okay, so what is the function of this aldosterone? This aldosterone in it is stimulate the reabsorption of more sodium and water. Okay, it stimulates the reabsorption of what? Sodium and water. Means what will happen? There is a blood volume is increases. Okay, it may leads to what? Blood pressure. It is increases the high BP. Okay, so here our drug antihypertensive, our propranolol drug is inhibit the release of renin. Okay, so as a result of inhibition of renin means there is no conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. Okay, in the absence of renin, there is no conversion of angiotensin 1 from angiotensinogen. Okay, so then there is no conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. Okay, there is no conversion of angiotensin 2 means there is no vasoconstriction effect, and there is no release of aldosterone means there is no reabsorption of sodium and water. Okay, so nothing but it may decreases the blood pressure. Okay, and it is propranolol drug, it is also decreases the central sympathetic outflow. It is decreases the central sympathetic outflow, so that's why it is decreases the blood pressure, and it is decreases the cardiac output also. Okay, so here the propranolol drug, it is inhibit the beta 1 receptors, inhibit the blocking the activity of beta 1 receptors. So that's why there is a decrease in the cyclic AMP formation in cardiac muscles. So that's why there is no contraction effect. Okay, so that's why there is a heart rate is decreases, myocardial contractility is decreases, and the conduction velocity is also decreases, and the oxygen demand is also decreases. And along with that, this propranolol drug is inhibit the release of renin from the kidney region. So that's why that angiotensin 2 functions, it will be decreases. Okay, so that's why this propranolol drug having what effect? Antihypertensive effect, and the cardiac output is also decreased by propranolol. Okay, and next thing is, see this. So propranolol, it is block the beta 1 receptor in kidney regions. So that's why decreases the renin secretion. So that's why there is a decrease in the effect of renin angiotensin system. So block the activity of angiotensin 2 especially. So as a result of blockade of renin means there is a blockade of angiotensin 2 functions. So then what will happen? There is no vasoconstriction effect. There is no release of aldosterone. There is no increases of blood volume, and there is no increases the blood pressure. So nothing but it may lead to decreases the blood pressure. Okay, and effect on blood pressure. Okay, so here propranolol, there is no direct action on blood vessels. Okay, but there is a little changes in little acute changes in BP. So why? Because propranolol normally it is block the beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation. Okay, beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation. So actually uh, I will draw the one thing. Wait. Okay, so when propranolol binds with what receptors? Beta 2. Okay, beta 2 receptors. So first, what is the mechanism of action of beta 2 receptor agonist drug? Okay, what is a beta 2 agonist drug? So when beta agonist drug binds with the beta 2 receptors means what will happen? There is a beta 2 receptor is also GS coupled receptors. Okay, G stimulatory G protein coupled receptors. Then what will happen? There is a activation of adenyl cyclase enzyme. Means there is a cyclic AMP formation is in cyclic AMP formation is increases. Okay, so what is the location of beta 2 receptors? The beta 2 receptor is mainly located at the smooth muscles. Beta 1 receptors is mainly located at heart muscles. Okay, and here the beta 2 receptors are mainly located at the vascular smooth muscles and inner organ smooth muscles also. So when beta agonist drug, okay, when beta agonist drug binds with the beta 2 receptors means there is an activation of adenyl cyclase enzyme, means there is a activation of cyclic AMP. So here the cyclic AMP formation is increases in smooth muscles means what will happen? There is a ML CK there is a MLCK enzyme, it will be uh, inactivated by the cyclic AMP in smooth muscles. Okay, so when cyclic AMP formation is increases in smooth muscles means there is an inhibition of MLCK enzyme. Means there is an inhibition of MLCK enzyme means there is no phosphorylation of myosin protein. Okay, means there is a decreases the what effect? Contraction effect. So decreases the contraction effect means what? It may lead to what? Relaxation effect. Okay, so here our drug, that is propranolol. Okay, so when propranolol drug is binds with the beta 2 receptors means there is a inactivation of adenyl cyclase enzyme. Okay, then inactivation of cyclic AMP. Okay, so then the cyclic AMP formation, it is decreases in cyclic AMP formation is decreases in smooth muscles means what will happen? There is no inactivation of MLCK enzyme. Okay, there is no inactivation of MLCK enzyme means there is a phosphorylation of myosin protein is also occurs. Means here it may lead to what effect? That is constriction effect is occurs. Okay, so the constriction effect is occurs by propranolol. Okay, actually when beta 2 agonist drug after binds with the beta 2 receptors, it can shows the it can shows the relaxant effect. Okay, but when propranolol drug is binds with the beta 2 receptors means what will happen? There is an inactivation of adenyl cyclase enzyme because of propranolol drug is blocks the actions of beta 2 receptors. So that's why there is an inactivation of adenyl cyclase enzyme. There is a decrease in the formation of cyclic AMP. Means there is no inactivation of MLCK enzyme. There is no inactivation of MLCK enzyme means there is a there is a phosphorylation of myosin protein. Means it may cause us a constriction effect. Okay, this one is mechanism of action of propranolol when binds with beta 2 receptors. Okay, so it shows what kind of effect? Propranolol, that is constriction effect. Okay, so here in normally propranolol block the what catecholamines induced vasodilation. Okay, so normally catecholamines is nothing but beta 2 agonist drugs. Okay, so propranolol block the beta 2 agonist drugs induced vasodilation. See this, when beta 2 agonist drug is binds with the beta 2 receptors means it causes the relaxant effect, means vasodilation effect. Okay, so here our drug propranolol drug, it is block the beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation. Okay, and it is increases the total peripheral resistance also, and it is decreases the cardiac output. Okay, so here the peripheral resistance, it will be increases means increases is occurs due to as a result of vasodilation. As a result of vasodilation, there is a increases the total peripheral resistance. Okay, but this propranolol drug is also decreases the cardiac output. Okay, so why it is decreases the cardiac output? Cardiac output because of this propranolol drug, it is also binds with beta 1 receptors. Okay, that's why it is decreases the cardiac output. Okay, so it decreases the cardiac output. So in normal individuals, the propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors mediated vasodilation, and as a result of vasodilation there is a increases the total peripheral resistance, and it is decreases the what? Cardiac output. Why it is decreases the cardiac output? Because of this propranolol drug is block the beta 1 receptors in heart regions. So that's why there is a decreases the cardiac output. So as a result of these changes, there is no negligible changes in the BP. Okay, there is no negligible changes in the BP initially. Okay, in normal individuals, but the chronic exposure means the chronic use of this propranolol drug, it is chronic exposure, nothing but prolonged administration of this propranolol drug, it is decreases the total peripheral resistance. Okay, it is decreases the what? Total peripheral, just wait, I will erase this thing, then it will clear. Okay. So after chronic exposure means after prolonged administration of this propranolol drug, it is increases the total peripheral resistance. Okay, it decreases the total peripheral resistance. Okay, and uh, means the decreases the total peripheral resistance means what, there is a constrictory effect is also occurs. Okay, after prolonged use of this propranolol drug, but initially it can show the vasodilation only. So initially it is block the beta 2 receptors mediated vasodilation. Okay, and it is increases the total peripheral resistance, but after chronic use of this drug, it is decreases the total peripheral resistance, and it may what the BP it is also falls, and the cardiac output is also decreases after prolonged administration of this drug. Okay, and uh, this propranolol is also decreases release of renin, so that's why there is a decreases the BPs also occurs. So there is a decreases the angiotensin 2 functions as a result of decrease in the release of renin. So there is a the decrease in the release of renin is occurs due to blockade of beta 1 receptors. Okay, and this propranolol drug is decreases the sympathetic outflow, the central sympathetic outflow. So that's why the BP is also decreases, and there is a blockade of what, noradrenaline release. The propranolol it is block the release of noradrenaline due to blockade of beta receptors. Okay, so what is the overall effect of this propranolol on blood pressure is what, initially it can shows the there is initially what, there is no negligible changes in BP, but after chronic use of this drug there is a decrease in the blood pressure, because of it decreases the total peripheral resistance. Okay, at the same time it is also decreases the release of renin. Okay, and decreases central sympathetic outflow, and the blockade of noradrenaline release due to blockade of the beta receptors. Okay. Mm, so propranolol effect on blood pressure is it decreases the blood pressure. Okay, due to decreases release of renin, central direction of sympathetic outflow, blockade of noradrenaline release. Okay, and next one is, so next actions on metabolic effects, propranolol actions on metabolic system. So here the propranolol drug is inhibit the sympathetic stimulation of lipolysis. Okay, so normally the sympathetic drugs on lipid metabolism is what, lipolysis. So here our propranolol drug is inhibit the sympathetic stimulation of lipolysis. So that's why there is a blockade of lipolysis means what will happen, there is a increases the free fatty acid levels. Okay, so nothing but there is a increases the triglycerides level, increases the cholesterol level, and increases the bad cholesterol, LDL levels is also increases. Okay, so the propranolol drug is increases the triglycerides level and cholesterol level and LDL level due to inhibition of sympathetic stimulation of lipolysis. Okay, because of this lipolysis is mediated by beta 2 receptors. Okay, so as a result of blockade of beta 2 receptors, there is a blockade of lipolysis process. So that's why there is a triglycerides levels, free fatty acid levels is increases. Next, effect on carbohydrate. So there is an inhibition of glycosinolysis in heart region, muscle and liver region. So that glycosinolysis process, it is mediated by beta 2 receptors. So here our propranolol drug, it is block the beta 2 receptors. So propranolol drug, it is equally blocks the beta 1 receptors and beta 2 receptors. So propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors. Then what will happen? There is an inhibition of what, glycosinolysis process. in heart region, in muscle region, and liver region. What is a beta 2 agonist action on carbohydrate metabolism is what that is what the plasma glucose levels is increases, hyperglycemia is occurs. Here, propranolol drug is inhibit the glycosinolysis. So inhibit the glycosinolysis means there is a hypoglycemia is occurs. Okay, means the blood glucose level concentration it will be decreases. The blood glucose levels it will be decreases because of there is an inhibition of what glycosinolysis process in heart, muscle, and liver region. Okay, and next one is actions, other actions of this propranolol, actions on respiratory system. Okay, so here bronchoconstriction effect is occurs. Why bronchoconstriction effect is occurs? So a propranolol drug it is uh, decreases the formation of cyclic AMP. So propranolol drug is decreases the formation of cyclic AMP in smooth muscles. So the cyclic AMP formation is decreased in smooth muscles means what? There is no inactivation of MLCK enzyme, means there is a phosphorylation of myosin protein is occurs. Okay, so nothing but there is a contraction effect is occurs. Okay, myosin it is nothing but a muscle protein. Okay, so the protein is required for the contraction effect. So here the phosphorylation of myosin protein is occurs is nothing but there is a constriction effect is occurs. Okay, the cyclic AMP formation in smooth muscle is increases means the constriction effect is occurs. Okay, so here our propranolol drug it is decreases the cyclic AMP formation in smooth muscles. So decreases the cyclic AMP formation in smooth muscles means there is no inactivation of MLCK enzyme. So that's why there is a constriction effect is occurs. Okay, so constriction effect is occurs due to blockade of the beta 2 receptors in smooth muscles. And the drug should be contraindicated in asthma patients. Why? Because of in asthma there is a bronchoconstriction is there. Already the person is suffering with uh, asthma, means the constriction effect is present in that particular patient. So in that cases, when in that cases, the propranolol should be avoided because of propranolol is also causes the bronchoconstriction effect. So propranolol it should be avoided in asthma patient. So when we are using this propranolol along with asthma means what will happen? Propranolol when it is used in asthma patient means what will happen? Means the severity of the disease it is increases. So some of the cases it may lead to death also. Okay. Mm, that's why the beta 1 selective drugs is preferred for the treatment of hypertension. Okay. And next effect on eye. Okay, it decreases the intraocular pressure. Propranolol it is decreases the intraocular pressure by reducing the production of the aqueous humor. Okay, that's why this propranolol drug is used for the treatment of glaucoma. Okay, and there is no effect on pupil size, only it decreases the production of aqueous humor and it decreases the intraocular pressure. So that's why it is used for the treatment of glaucoma. And next effect on CNS. So there is no considerable CNS effects. Okay, so here some behavioral effects is occurs. Okay, and there is some behavioral changes is occurs, and the forgetfulness means the loss of memory and nightmares. Okay, and this propranolol drug is suppress the anxiety. Okay, and next effect on skeleton muscles. Okay, effect on skeleton muscles is what is a beta 2 agonist drugs effect on skeleton muscles is what it causes the tremors. Okay, and this action is mediated by beta 2 receptors. So here our propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors, and that's why there is reduction of the tremors. Okay, and there is a reduction of the exercise capacity. Okay, this propranolol drug is reduces the exercise capacity. So why it is reduces the exercise capacity? Because of this drug is reduces the blood flow to the muscles. So why it is reduces the blood flow to the muscles? Because of actually this beta 2 agonist drug is increases the blood flow to the muscles due to vasodilation effect. Beta 2 agonist drug is having vasodilation effect. Okay, that's why there is a blood flow to the muscles is also increases. Okay. And one more thing is glycosenolysis process and lipolysis process is also mediated by beta 2 receptors. So actually that glycosenolysis process and the lipolysis process, it is this process will provide the fuel. Okay, this process will provide the fuel to the exercising muscles. Okay, actually, so here that process, the glycosenolysis process and what the lipolysis process is mediated by beta 2 receptors. So here our drug, propranolol drug, it is block the beta 2 receptors. Okay, our propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors. That's why that glycogenesis process is inhibited and the lipolysis process is also inhibited. So that's why there is a no fuel to the what exercising muscles. Okay, and one more thing is there is an inhibition of vasodilation effect. So as a result of inhibition of vasodilation effect, there is a reduction in the blood flow to the what exercising muscles. Okay, so that's why there is a reduction of the exercise capacity. So the propranolol drug is reduces the exercise capacity due to reduction in the blood flow to the exercise muscles. So due to blockade of the glycosenolysis process and lipolysis process. So that process is mediated by beta 2 receptors. So our propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors. Okay, so that's why there is a reduction in the blood flow, and at the same time it is inhibit the vasodilation effect. That's why there is a reduction in the blood flow to the muscles. Okay, and what next one is pharmacokinetics of these are all our pharmacological actions of what propranolol. Effect on cardiovascular system, effect on blood pressure and metabolic effects, effect on respiratory system, eyes, CNS and skeletal muscles. Okay, so next one is pharmacokinetics of propranolol. So most of the drugs are well absorbed after oral administration, and the peak plasma concentration is reached within 1 to 3 hours. Okay, after ingestion of these drugs, including propranolol. Okay, and this propranolol drug having high first pass metabolism. Means what? The drug, before going to the systemic circulation, the drug should be metabolized in the liver. So that is called as first pass metabolism. So that's why the bioavailability of this propranolol is very low. Okay, propranolol drug having low bioavailability due to first pass metabolism. Okay, and the high oral and parenteral ratio is 40:1. Okay, so 40:1, and the bioavailability is vary in the inter individual persons. Okay, it will be vary in different peoples. Okay, and the metabolism of this propranolol, it is depends upon the hepatic blood flow. Okay, so here actually what the propranolol, it is decreases the blood flow to the muscles and organs also. So here metabolism of this propranolol drug is depends upon the hepatic blood flow. So itself it decreases the hepatic blood flow. Okay, and higher bioavailability and chronic administration. So after prolonged administration, after long-term use of this propranolol drug, there is a increases the bioavailability. So initially the propranolol drug having low bioavailability due to first pass metabolism, but after chronic use of this drug, there is a bioavailability, it will be increases because of after chronic administration of these drugs, there is a and the blood flow to the liver is also increases. Okay, initially the propranolol drug is decreases the blood flow to the hepatic region. Okay, and but after chronic administration of this drug, there is a bioavailability, it will be increases. Okay, the bioavailability is increases after chronic administration, and the higher bioavailability if it is taken with food. Why? Because this food is decreases the first pass metabolism. Okay, food, it is decreases the first pass metabolism. So that's why this propranolol drug is always used along with food. Okay, because of the this food is decreases the first pass metabolism. Okay, and the dose of this drug is 10 to 80 mg tablets, and 10 to 80 mg. Okay, and overall dose per day is 40 to 160 mg per day. Okay, and the sustained release preparations of propranolol and metoprolol is also available. Okay, and what is the adverse drug reactions of this propranolol? There is a congestive heart failure. Okay, the congestive cardiac failure and edema is occurs. So why it is occurs? Because of there is a loss of sympathetic support to the heart. Okay, the sympathetic stimulation to the heart is decreases, so that's why the person may affected with congestive heart failure and edema, and the bradycardia is also occurs. And what COPD and bronchial asthma is also occurs because of already the person is suffering, and the drug this propanol drug should be avoided in the persons who are suffering with bronchial asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Okay, and why? Because of this propanolol drug, it is causes a bronchoconstriction effect, so that's why the person might be get bronchial asthma and COPD. Okay, and the risk of coronary artery disease is also very high. So why the risk of coronary artery disease is very high? Because of what is the effect of this beta blockers on metabolic system is what the lipolysis processes decreases, means there is a free fatty acid levels is increase in our body, means there is a triglycerides levels is increases, and there is a LDL levels is also increases, and there is a fall in HDL, means the good cholesterol levels is decreases, and the bad cholesterol levels is increases, and the triglycerides levels is increases. So that's why the person might be get what coronary heart disease. Okay, and tiredness and reduces the exercise capacity also. Okay, the person will get tight. Okay, tiredness, and the exercise capacity is also reduced. Okay, due to blockade of the beta 2 receptors. And uh, the cold hands and feet is also occurs. Okay, what the cold hands and feet is occurs due to blockade of the beta 2 receptors. Okay, and there is a increase in the severity of the peripheral vascular diseases. Okay, and next one is other effects is GIT upset, nightmares, forgetfulness, and sexual distress. And the drug should be avoided, contraindicated in partial and complete heart block. Okay, the drug should be contraindicated in partial or complete heart block due to if it is used in a partial heart block means what will happen, the cardiac arrest it will be occurs. Okay, so that's why this propanol drug is contraindicated in partial or complete atrioventricular block, and the drug should be contraindicated in asthma, the persons who are suffering with asthma or COPD, because of the severity of that disease is increases. Some of the cases death it will be also occurs. Okay, and what the variant angina exhibition is also occurs, that is unopposed coronary constriction by alpha receptors. Okay, these are the adverse drug reactions of what propanolol. And next one is drug interactions. So the first drug interaction is what propanolol along with insulin. What will happen? Uh, what is the metabolic effects of propanolol? That is what glycosenolysis process is reduced, lipolysis process is also reduced. So glycosenolysis process is inhibited means what? There is a hypoglycemia is occurs. Okay, means there is no breakdown of glycogen. Okay, there is no breakdown of glycogen means there is no conversion of glycogen to glucose. Okay, so there is a hypoglycemia is occurs. So what is the effect of insulin? It is also it causes a hypoglycemia. So when propanolol used along with insulin means there is a delayed in the recovery of hypoglycemia. It is caused by insulin. Okay, so there is a delay in the recovery of hypoglycemia by insulin because of propanolol is also causes the hypoglycemia, because of it is inhibit the glycosenolysis process, because of it is inhibit the lipolysis process. Okay, inhibit the glycosenolysis process means it causes a hypoglycemia. So that's why this propranolol drug is delay the recovery of hypoglycemia by insulin. And the warning signs is also suppressed. So warning signs means what? So when the person is suffering with hypoglycemia, some sympathetic stimulations is occurs. Some signs is also occurs. So that sympathetic stimulation signs is what? Tachycardia and tremors. Okay. So that tachycardia and tremors, it will be blocked by propranolol. Okay. So that's why the warning signs is also suppressed. Okay. So second interaction is what? Propranolol and alpha agonist drug. Okay, so agonist, alpha agonist drugs is example is ephedrine and norepinephrine. So what will happen when these two drugs is used at a time means there is a increases the BP because of this propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors, and this alpha agonist drugs is causes the vasoconstriction effect. Okay, it causes a vasoconstriction effect, and this propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation. Okay, so it block the beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation means what? It may also cause us some constriction effect. And alpha agonist actions on blood vessels is what? Constriction effect. So both effects is may lead to rise in the BP. Okay, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, when it is used along with the propranolol drug means what will happen? So these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are decreases the prostaglandin synthesis. So as a result of decreases the prostaglandin synthesis means it may increases the blood pressure. So okay, because of this prostaglandin is increases the blood flow normally, function of prostaglandins. But here, our non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are decreases the synthesis of prostaglandins. So there is a decrease in the blood flow, nothing but here there is a increases the blood pressure. Okay, the blood pressure within the blood vessels is increases because of the lack of blood flow within that blood vessels. So that's why the pressure within the blood vessels is increases. Okay, um, so when the person is taking NSAIDs means in that person there is a BP is increases. Okay, so when NSAIDs is used along with the propranolol means what will happen? The beta blocking activity, the antihypertensive actions of that beta blockers is suppressed. Okay, attenuation means the decrease in the force of antihypertensive action of the beta blockers because of the non-steroidal drugs are promote the blood pressure. Okay, and propranolol it is beta blocking agents, and this drug is used for the treatment of hypertension. So NSAIDs drugs are causes hypertension, and propranolol drugs are used for the treatment of hypertension means it is a antihypertensive drugs. So when these two drugs are used at the same time means there is a decreases the antihypertensive effect of propranolol. Okay, so that's why propranolol it is not used along with NSAIDs because of NSAIDs are decreases the efficacy of the beta blockers, decreases the antihypertensive action of the beta blockers because of NSAIDs drugs are increases the blood pressure. Okay, so that's why when it is used along with the propranolol means that antihypertensive action of that beta blockers it will be decreases. And the fourth drug interaction is propranolol. It is decreases the lidocaine metabolism. It retards the lidocaine metabolism by reducing the hepatic blood flow. Propranolol drug is decreases the blood flow to the organs. Okay, so it decreases the blood flow to the liver region also. So that's why the lidocaine metabolism it will be decreases. Okay, means the lidocaine metabolism requires the blood flow is required for the metabolism of lidocaine. Okay, but here the propranolol drug is reduces the blood flow to the liver regions. So that's why the metabolism of lidocaine metabolism of lidocaine is decreases. And the fifth interaction is, so when propranolol used along with cardiac glycosides example is digitalis. Okay, so when propranolol used along with the digitalis means what will happen? There is an additive depression of sinoatrial node. Okay, and there is a AV conduction. There is a depression of AV conduction, and there is a attitude, there is a depression of SA node. So normally propranolol, it is depress the SA node and block the atrioventricular conduction also. The conduction velocity is also decreased by propranolol. At the same time, distalis is also depress the SA node and it is block the conduction of AV node. It is inhibit the AV conduction also. Atrioventricular conduction is also inhibited by distalis. So when these two drugs are used at the same time means, okay, when propranolol is used along with the distalysis means there is an additive depression of SA node, and additive depression of AV conduction is also occurs. Okay, means there is a severity of the depression of SA node is increases and totally block the AV conduction is also occurs. That's why propranolol it should not be used along with distalis, and propranolol should not be used along with lidocaine, and NSAIDs is also not used along with propranolol, and propranolol not used along with alpha agonist. If it is used along with alpha agonist means there is an increases the BP, and when propranolol used along with insulin means, so what will happen? There is a delay in the recovery of hypoglycemia by insulin, because of the hypoglycemia effect is mediated by beta 2 receptors. Okay, and the warning signs is also suppressed. So when the person is suffering with normal hypoglycemia means in that person there is a sympathetic signs is occurs. Okay, the sympathetic stimulation signs is occurs. So that sympathetic stimulation is inhibited by propranolol. Okay, so that's why the warning signs is also suppressed. So these are the drug interactions of the what propranolol and other drugs, other beta blockers drugs. So first one is cardioselective drugs. Okay, so these cardioselective drugs are mainly block the what kind of receptors? That is beta 1 receptors, then beta 2. Okay, and this beta 1 selective drugs having some advantages. So what is that advantages? So first one is lower to cause the what bronchoconstriction, because of bronchial muscles consist of beta 2 receptors. Okay, so here this beta 1 selective drugs are only blocks the actions of beta 1, not beta 2. Okay, so that's why there is no cause of bronchoconstriction. So that's why beta 1 selective drugs are used in the asthma patients, and it can be used in COPD patients also. Okay, and there is no contraindication. Propranolol only drug is contraindicated in asthma patients and COPD patient, but cardioselective drugs are not contraindicated in asthma patient and COPD patient because it does not causes the bronchoconstriction. Okay, only these cardioselective drugs are only block the beta 1 receptors, and lesser interference with carbohydrate metabolism. Okay, so there is no interference with carbohydrate metabolism, so that's why the drug should be safer in diabetes. Okay, so normally that glycosenolysis process and the lipolysis process is mediated by beta 2 receptors. Okay, so here these cardioselective drugs are lesser interference with carbohydrate metabolism, because of these drugs are only block the beta 1 receptors, not does not block the beta 2 receptors. So that's why these cardioselective drugs are safer in diabetes patients. Okay, and the beta 2 blockers are contraindicated in diabetes patients. Note down, beta 2 blockers are contraindicated in diabetes patients. So in diabetes patients are mainly affects about hypoglycemia. Okay, the blood glucose levels is decreased in diabetes patients. So after taking this what anti-diabetic drugs, oral hypoglycemic agents are insulin. So after taking that medicine, the diabetic patient might be get the hypoglycemia. Okay, so at the same time when you are using what propranolol drug. Okay, so propranolol drug is block the beta 2 receptors, both beta 1 receptors and beta 2 receptors. So when beta blockers are used in diabetes patients means what will happen? The severity of the hypoglycemia is very high. Okay, because of what is the beta because of that glycosenolysis process, that lipolysis process is mediated by beta 2 receptors. Okay, so nothing but hypoglycemia is occurs. Okay, what is a beta 2 action on the carbohydrate metabolism is what? Hypoglycemia. Okay, but the diabetes patients who are taking the oral hypoglycemic agents, okay, in that person also, what is the adverse effect is hypoglycemia. Okay, so that's why that propranolol drug, it should be avoided in the persons, the diabetes persons who are taking the oral hypoglycemic agents. Okay, and here, but cardioselective drugs are, it should be safer in diabetes patients, because of this cardioselective drugs are only block the beta 1 receptors, not block the beta 2 receptors. So that's why it should be safer in diabetes patients. Okay, and beta 2 blockers are not safe in diabetes patients. Okay, and lower incidence of cold hands and feet due to less blockade of beta 2 receptor or no blockade of beta 2 receptors. So this cold hands and cold feet is occurs due to blockade of beta 2 receptors. Okay, but here cold hands and cold feet is occurs due to beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation. Okay, but here this cardioselective drugs are does not block the beta 2 receptors. Okay, so does not block the beta 2 receptor mediated vasodilation. So that's why there is a lower incidence of cold hands and feet. Okay, and there is a lesser suppression of essential tremors and the lesser impairment of exercising capacity. Okay, because of the exercise capacity is also reduced. Propranolol is reduces the exercise capacity because of it reduces the blood flow, and it may causes a glycosenolysis process and lipolysis process. Okay, so blockade of glycosenolysis process and blockade of lipolysis process. As a result of blockade of glycosenolysis process and lipolysis process, there is a reduces the blood flow is occurs. Okay, there is a reduces the fuel flow to the exercising muscles also. Okay, exercise muscles. So here this beta 1 selective drugs are only block the beta 1 receptors. Okay, it does not block the beta 2 receptors. Okay, because of that glycosenolysis process, that lipolysis process, that vasodilation effect is mediated by beta 2 receptors. So that's why this cardioselective drugs are, does not affect on glycosenolysis process, and does not affect on lipolysis process, and does not affect on what vasodilation effect. Okay, so that's why there's a lesser impairment of exercise capacity. Okay, so this one is advantages of what cardioselective drugs. And the next one is intrinsic sympathomimetic activity, means pindolol and celiprolol. So these drugs are actually blockers, beta blockers, and along with the drug having partial agonist action is also there. Okay, so that's why what is the main advantage of this action, partial agonist action of these drugs is there is a lesser bradycardia occurs, and there is a lesser depression of contractility, and that's why this drug should be preferred in elderly patient, especially the drug used for the treatment of sick sinus syndrome. Okay, so this pindolol and celiprolol drug having somewhat agonist activity. Okay, partial agonist activity is also there along with the blocking activity. So that's why there is a lesser bradycardia occurs, and the lesser depression of contractility also occurs. So that's why the drug should be preferred in elderly patients, and the drug is used for the treatment of sick sinus syndrome also. And favorable withdrawal. Okay, so after withdrawal of this pindolol and celiprolol, there is no increases the BP. Okay, after withdrawal of these two drugs, there is no increases the there is no increase the blood pressure. It does not cause as the hypertension after withdrawal of these drugs, pindolol and celiprolol. And there is no interference with lipid profile. Okay, because of this lipid profile is mediated through what? Beta 2 receptors. And here this drug having somewhat in sympathomimetic activity is there. So that's why there is no interference with lipid profile. Okay, so that's why the drug should be this pindolol and celiprolol drug, it should be used in coronary artery disease patients also. Okay, because of there is no interference with These drugs are, there is no interference with lipid profile. That's why this pentolalol and celiprolol drug should be used in the persons who are suffering with coronary artery disease. Okay, and other beta blockers is effects is membrane stabilizing effects. Okay, like lidocaine. Okay, and this drug having some local anesthetic action is there, and because of this drug is block the sodium channels. Okay, so this propranolol and other some beta blockers having membrane stabilizing effect is the same as lidocaine, and because of the drug having some local anesthetic action, because of these drugs is block the sodium channel. So sodium channel, as a result of blockade of sodium channel, there is a decrease in the influx of sodium ions, so there is a depolarization effect, it will be decreases. Okay, so that's why the drug is used for the treatment of anti-arrhythmia. Okay, used for the treatment of arrhythmia, and this drug having anti-arrhythmic actions. Okay, so some beta blockers drugs having anti-arrhythmic actions. Okay, because of this beta blockers drugs are blocks the what sodium channels. Okay, typically block the sodium channel, so that's why there is a decrease in the influx of sodium ions, and there is a decrease in the depolarization effect, and that's why there is drug is used for the treatment of arrhythmia. Okay, beta blockers also used for the treatment of arrhythmia. And atenolol and celiprolol and bisoprolol. These drugs are lipid insoluble in nature. Okay, so lipid insoluble in nature. That's why it does not cross as a blood-brain barrier. Okay, and that's why a less likely to produces the sleep disturbances. Okay, there is no sleep disturbances by atenolol and celiprolol and bisoprolol. Okay, and the drug, it is long acting drug. These drugs are long acting drug because of they are lipid insoluble drugs, and they are incompletely absorbed drug, and there is no first pass metabolism. Okay, actually propranolol having first pass metabolism, and propranolol having low bioavailability due to first pass metabolism, but here there is no first pass metabolism. And the drug, these lipid insoluble drugs are not metabolized in liver. This atenolol, celiprolol, bisoprolol are not metabolized in liver, so that's why the drug, it can be excreted in urine in an unchanged form. Okay, so that's why it is excreted in unchanged form means the drug is not metabolized in liver before going to the excretion. And the T of, if it, T of this atenolol and celiprolol is very long of life of this drug, that is 6 to 20 hours. Okay, the 6 to 20 hours. And the lipid soluble drugs are metabolized in liver. The lipid soluble drugs are what metabolized in liver, the remaining drugs are metabolized in liver. So that's why the T of remaining lipid soluble drugs is 2 to 6 hours. So the atenolol and celiprolol and bisoprolol drugs T of is 6 to 20 hours. Okay, and next drugs is metoprolol. Okay, so this is a prototype cardioselective blockers. Okay, this one is beta selective blocker, and the drug is safer in with bronchoconstriction, and it is preferred in the patients who are taking the insulin also. Okay, because of it is a beta 1 selective drug, but it does not deactivate the what beta 2 receptors. It does not block the beta 2 receptors, so that's why it should be used in asthma patients, and it should be used in what diabetics patient, the diabetic patients who are taking the insulin also, and the drug having less first pass metabolism. Okay, means the bioavailability of metoprolol is also very high, and this metoprolol drug is used in diabetes patient, in asthma patients also. And this metoprolol drug, it is metabolized with the help of cytochrome P450-2D6. It is an enzyme. This is a cytochrome P450 enzyme. This enzyme is required for the metabolism of metoprolol. Okay, and the drug is used in diabetics patients, the patients who are taking the oral hypoglycemic agents. OHS means oral hypoglycemic agents. So these oral hypoglycemic agents are used for the treatment of diabetes. Okay, This drug is used in treatment of diabetes. The persons who are taking OHS. Okay. Normally, beta 2 blockers are should be avoided in diabetes patients. Okay, but beta 1 selective drugs are used in diabetes patients. Okay, and this metoprolol drug is block the propranolol induced cold hands and feet. Okay, uh, and the dose of this metoprolol is 25, 50 or 100 mg is the available dosage forms, and the drug should be taken by IV route also. And atenolol drug, it is a beta 1 selective drug, and this drug having low lipid solubility, and this drug having low long duration of action, and there is no lipid profile adverse effects. Okay, so this atenolol, there is no lipid profile adverse effects, so that's why you should be, the atenolol drug, it is used in coronary artery disease patients also. Okay, and next one is celiprolol. Okay, so this celiprolol drug, it is selective beta 1 drug, and this drug having additional beta 2 agonist activity. Celiprolol drug, it is block the beta 1 receptors, and additionally beta 2 agonist activity is also there. And the drug, it is safer in asthmatic patients because of celiprolol drug, it is block the only beta 1 receptors. Okay, does not block the beta 2 receptors. And additionally, the celiprolol drug having beta 2 agonist activity, so that's why the drug should be safe in asthmatic patients. Okay, why it is safe in asthmatic patient? What is the beta 2 agonist action is what dilation effect. Okay, so that's why the drug should be safer in asthmatic patients. And causes, it causes a vasodilation effect by nitric oxide production. Because of it causes the, it is activates the endothelial nitric oxide synthase enzyme. So there is a production of nitric oxide, so this nitric oxide is causes a vasodilation effect. Okay, and additional benefit as antihypertensive effect. Okay, and celiprolol drug, it is used for the treatment of hypertension, and it causes a vasodilation due to production of the nitric oxide, due to activation of what endothelial nitric oxide synthase enzyme, it is activated. That's why there is a production of nitric oxide. This nitric oxide is causes the what vasodilation effect. And nebivolol drug is highly selective beta 1 blocker. Okay, and it is act as a nitric oxide donor, means it is improve the endothelial functions. Okay, means it is activates the endothelial nitric oxide synthase enzyme, there is a production of the nitric oxide, it is increases the endothelial cell functions. Okay, so there is a delay in the atherosclerosis. Okay, uh, atherosclerosis means what? There is a formation of plaques. Okay, there is a deposition of the cholesterol at the what lipid at the wall of blood vessels. Okay, the inner wall of blood vessels consists of what? There is an accumulation of what? Lipids along with the free radicals. Okay, and cholesterol, it will be deposited in the walls of blood vessels, so that is called as atherosclerosis. Okay, but here this nebivolol drug, it causes a vasodilation effect here, nebivolol drug. Okay, because of it is act as a nitric oxide donor. Okay, it is improves the endothelial functions. Okay, so that's why it is delay in the atherosclerosis process. Okay, it is inhibit the deposition of the what this atherosclerosis occurs due to endothelial dysfunction. Okay, first this atherosclerosis means what? Deposition of the plaques. Plaques is nothing but cholesterol, fat, free radicals. Okay, it will be accumulated in the walls of blood vessels. So this atherosclerosis formation is occurs due to endothelial dysfunctions normally. Okay, but here the nebivolol drug, it is produces the nitric oxide. Okay, so this nitric oxide, and it is act as a nitric oxide donor also. So this nitric oxide is improves the endothelial functions. So that's why there is a delay in the occurrence of atherosclerosis. So this atherosclerosis mainly occurs due to endothelial dysfunctions. But here our nebivolol drug it is improves the endothelial functions. So that's why there is a delay in the atherosclerosis process. And there is no harmful effect on carbohydrate metabolism, and there is no harmful effect on lipid metabolism. So that's why this drug is used for the treatment of CHF and hypertension. Okay. And the dose of this drug is 2.5 mg or 5 mg. Okay. And alpha and beta blockers. Okay. Labetalol drug. This drug is block the two kinds of receptors, alpha receptors and beta receptors. It block the two kinds of what receptors. And uh, it block the alpha 1 receptors, beta 1 receptors and beta 2 receptor. But this labetalol drug having weak beta 2 agonist activity is also there. Okay. And this labetalol drug is block the beta 2 receptor is about 1/3 of the propranolol, and it block the alpha receptor is about 1/10th of the phenethylamine. Okay. And this labetalol drug is 3 to 4 times more potent blocking of beta receptors than alpha receptors. Okay. And there is a fall in BP is occurs due to blockade of alpha receptors and beta receptors, as well as what weak beta 2 agonism action. Okay. So what is a beta 2 agonism action is what vasodilation effect. Okay. What is a beta 2 agonism action? Beta 2 agonist action on smooth muscle is what? Dilation effect. Okay. So here this labetalol drug it is fall in BP. It decreases the BP due to blockade of alpha receptors and beta receptors, and at the same time this labetalol drug having agonist activity, beta 2 agonist activity. So that's why labetalol drug is used for the treatment of hypertension. And carvedilol. Okay, so this one is beta 1, beta 2 and alpha 1 blocker. Okay, beta 1 blocker, beta 2 blocker and alpha 1 blocker. And this one is alpha 1 blocker, beta 1 blocker, beta 2 block, at the same time beta 2 agonist is also there. But carvedilol having block the beta 1 beta 2 receptors and block the alpha 1 receptors, and it block the calcium channels also. Okay. And it causes the what? Vasodilation effect due to blockade of alpha receptors and due to blockade of calcium channels. So that's why it causes the vasodilation effect. So uses is hypertension, and it is especially preferred in congestive heart failure, and it is a cardioprotective drug. Carvedilol drug, it is cardioprotective drug. Okay. And what is the overall uses of these beta blockers? So this drug is used for the treatment of hypertension and angina pectoris and myocardial infarction. Because of this drug is prevent the reinfraction. Because of this drug is prevent the ventricular fibrillation, and this drug is reduces the infarct size. Okay, the size of that infarct is also reduced by beta blockers. And this drug is used for the treatment of cardiac arrhythmia and congestive heart failure and pheochromocytoma. Okay. And what is meant by pheochromocytoma? Means there is a tumor formation is occurs at the blood vessels, those blood vessels which are present at the adrenal medulla. Okay. So that's why there is a production of the more catecholamines. Okay. So here our beta blockers drug is block the actions of that catecholamines. Okay. And hypothyroidism, in hypothyroidism there is a high occurrence of sympathetic symptoms. So that sympathetic symptoms it will be blocked by beta blockers. And the drug is used for the treatment of migraine, and it suppresses the anxiety, and it suppresses the social phobia also, and it suppresses the tremors, and it is used for the treatment of glaucoma. Because of this, beta blockers are suppress the formation of aqueous humor. Okay. And decrease the intraocular pressure. That's why this drug is used for the treatment of glaucoma. So these are the uses of beta blockers. Okay. So this one is total beta blockers classification and pharmacological actions, and what is the kinetics, adverse drug reactions and interactions, and some other beta blockers advantages. Okay. And okay. Thank you.